the mind, the psychology, and ignore the others, two aspects. And so to bring them together is what fascinated me.
Yeah.
And my experience in the yogic tradition was that when my children were about 1, 2, and 3, I was pushing a swing and I put my back out, my lower back, severely. And back in those days, what they did was put you in a body cast. So I was in a body cast from just under my arms to the very top of my legs.
Had anything broken? Nothing was broken?
Nothing was broken, but I couldn't move.
Okay.
No. And the doctor said, well, what you need to do is go home, lie down on the floor, and stay there for about 24 hours. Well, with a 1, 2, and 3-year-old, that wasn't exactly the solution. No. So he said, fine, we'll put you in a body cast. So that was an experience of that aspect of the healing. And then many, many years later, I was listening to the radio, I think it was, and I heard of a Swami that was coming from India, Swami Sham, and was going to introduce yoga. And I went, and I've never looked back.
So that was your first taste?
That was my first taste of it, and also I saved my money for 10 years before I went to India in 1980. And to realize the totally amazing history of yoga before it was brought to the West, and almost 3,000 years ago in the Indus Valley, etc. And Swami was a very strict guru. And I remember walking in the Himalayas and looking at the full moon and gazing upwards and being totally transported. And he came up behind me and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Look down." And he said, "That always there, this body will leave. Learn to be here in the body, not in the moon." So,
wow, yeah,
it was a very realistic kind of training.
Sure.
And then when I got home from India and my father passed away, and etc., I wanted to build a center because I had training in Massachusetts, down in Kripalu.
My favorite.
Yeah, in San Francisco with another Muni, silent guru. And so I built the center. I didn't build the center, but Paul McGowan and his friend built the center for me. And I didn't know if anybody would ever come. But I'd seen that movie, build it and they will come. And they did. That was 24 years ago.
24 years ago. My
Yes,
goodness.
yes.
That's a quarter of a decade coming towards. Just let me tell our listeners once again that they're listening to CIDI 99.1 FM. And our host, my host, me.
That's right.
Where am I? Blah, blah. Ilya Kavukis and my wonderful guest, Joan Mathews. Joan, you were talking about your voyage from Sutton into yoga, into Sutton, and then how you built the center and how it's attracting so many people. It has attracted so many people over the years. And what do you think is the main attraction? I know the answer to that. But
Oh, well, I hope I give you the right answer then. I would say, I don't know how many years ago, but in my 20s, someone made the comment about me, and I was told that I was very superficial. And I remember how much that hurt, and I vowed to myself that I would work towards authenticity, to work towards being real. And that's kind of been the whole attitude behind the center was to allow everyone who comes there to be safe, to guide them towards being real. And I think that energetically, people will be drawn when it's what they need to be doing. And it is just the energy and the atmosphere in the room, I feel, is a very safe one. And I speak for myself, but anyone I've ever worked with, we all have some very deep fear. And when you're lying on your back and your soles of your feet are together and your knees are wide open and your arms are out to the side, particularly for a woman, that's an extraordinarily vulnerable posture. And to feel safe is a gift. And I think that's what the center has offered people. And the counseling work, if I can get through this quickly, was
Take your time.
okay. When I worked with Robert Shepard, the psychiatrist, he was the one who said to me, you're just naturally a person who can work with people on the psychological aspect, because I'd received a lot. So he introduced me to that, and we would give sessions to couples who were the parents of schizophrenic people, and he would record it, and then he would play it back. He trained me, in other words. And he would say, like, that question was inappropriate, or how did you feel, da-da-da-da. And then I took some courses at Thomas More Institute. I don't even know if that still exists, but anyway, in Montreal. And then it just kind of automatically started to happen. And what I so appreciate is, because of the experiences in my life, someone can come and they'll kind of look down at the floor and say, well, I've never told this to anybody, but, and then they'll tell me their secret. And I'll just look at them and say, I know.
Been there.
me too. And of course, being their projection, they'll say, you did that?
Well, you're absolutely right, Joan. It is about you. It is totally about you, that center. It's the light, when I walk in that place. It's been a while since I've been there, but I've been so focused on my center.
I know.
Yeah, and it's such a work in progress.
Totally.
Building something, and it's so, we take everything so personally, like you said. You took it personally, and then from that point on, you worked on making it so authentic, and that's what I'm doing every day. And we have run out of time for this show, so we're just going to have to have you back.
How can I cover my whole life
in 28 minutes? I know. That's why we're going to have you back. So don't go anywhere. We're going to record another show.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, listeners, for listening to us. You can reach us at sunshinecenter.ca. Center spelled TER, or you can phone us at 450-538-1111. Thank you.